on this to have a dialogue to think about what a not-for-profit utility would look like for Stockton folks. I'll put that in there. So did my duty on that. All right.
That sounds amazing. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Mary Elizabeth. Steph, do you think we are, Steph and Sarah, you think we're good to go, or should we give it another minute?
And Mary, we might want to put that in again later in the meeting, put it in the chat again, because people that sign in later don't see the early chat.
Okay, good idea. Thanks.
Thanks, Mary and Margot. Mary, a great community event, but another good reminder to get out into nature. I love that. I do see a few more folks joining. I think we can go ahead and get started.
All right, that sounds good. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to your 63rd CSC meeting. My name is Jared Zachary, and I'm joined by my colleague Amy Ramos, and we are delighted to be facilitating this evening's meeting. We hope everyone had a great summer and enjoyed the month off and are staying cool. And welcome to August. I can't believe it's August. Time is flying by. In terms of how we'll spend our time together, this month's agenda is designed to learn more about wildfire outreach education, in which we'll discuss the district's outreach and education efforts to prepare the community for wildfire season. The Air District will also be providing high-level SERP implementation updates to discuss progress pertaining to heavy-duty truck replacement, passenger vehicle replacement, and clean air rooms. And there will also be time for any questions on the two presentations. Before we get started, we will go ahead and walk through some meeting logistics. And although this might be familiar to many folks, I think it's always helpful to have a refresher as we get our time started. So let me share my screen. Are you all able to see my screen?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you. So again, welcome to this evening's meeting. It's Wednesday, August the 6th, 2025. Before we get started, please mute yourself and make sure your full name and organization are showing as your screen name. To change your screen name, click on the top right side of your picture or video. If you're a CSC member, please use the naming convention CSC, first name, last name. And if you are a resident, you would use R, first name, last name. All other participants, please use first, last, and the affiliation, such as Jake Smith, AD. And throughout the meeting, you might see some of the hosts change your name or nudge you just so we have clear records of who attended this evening. To connect by phone, you can click the caret that's next to the unmute button, say switch to phone audio and select phone call. Note anyone who's using the interpretation Spanish channel should not link their account. And then again, this is just another reminder on how to change your screen name. This is really helpful as the way that we track attendance and track for the stipend program. And so you may see one of us nudge you, or you can just ask a Harder and Company team member or someone from the Air District to help manually rename you, and we'll be more than happy to. We've been away, so just some virtual meeting etiquette again. Please stay on mute unless you are speaking or planning to speak. If you're joined by phone, you can use *6. Please raise your blue Zoom hand to ask a question during your presentation or a Q&A. And if you are joining by, if you are joining by phone, you can use *9. Residents in the stipend program should stay for at least 75% of the meeting to be eligible for a stipend. And so if we use the full 2 hours, that is 90 minutes. And please state your name before sharing a comment to allow for a smooth interpretation of today's conversation. We always love to have a productive and respectful dialogue, and that means just creating a space where everyone feels like they can speak their mind while respecting the different opinions that might come up today. And so we really want to help achieve the meeting's goals and focus on solutions. Let everyone participate by stepping up and stepping back. Being civil and respectful, it's okay to disagree, but let's make sure we're using empathy. Stay in point and on time. Please keep comments brief and to the point to allow for enough time for all. Attack the problem, not the person. We're all here for the same goal, and so we can honor everyone's humanity and dignity. And then we really aim to seek common ground by building consensus and finding shared values. So in order of the way that we will use tonight's time, we are currently doing welcome and introductions. We will then transition into reviewing the action item tracker, followed by wildfire outreach and education. At 5:55, we will do our SERP implementation updates, and then we will end the evening with standing updates, wrap up and next steps, and public comment. Stop sharing my screen.
Just a second, Jared. This is Jazzy from the resident, and I previously I was wondering if we could do a moment of silence. Actually, I don't know if that was a part of the agenda or anything. Okay, if you guys are already handling it, then okay, awesome.
No, it definitely was a part of our agenda, but I know that's like something that is on top of everyone's mind. So I appreciate you making sure that we carved out time to do that. So thank you so much. That was yeah, right next where we were transitioning. So thank you so much. Um, yeah, we know a lot of heavy things are on folks' mind, especially in the Stockton community. And so in terms of transitioning from our group agreements, I will transition and pass it to Sarah for welcoming remarks.
Thanks, Jared. This is Sarah. Since we didn't have a CSC meeting in July, it's been a while since we've seen you all, and we hope that you've been having a nice summer and definitely hope that you've been keeping cool with all this heat that we have been experiencing lately. We have some exciting updates today from our outreach department on what to do if there are wildfires in the area, and then I'll transition us to some updates on some of the grant programs. But before we do that, I will pass it over to Stephanie.
Thank you, Sarah. This is Stephanie. For those that don't know me, I'm the Director of Community Strategies and Resources here at the Valley Air District. And I just wanted to thank Jazzy for bringing that up. It totally is, definitely high on our mind, like Jared said. For those that haven't heard the news, I just wanted to take a moment at the beginning of the meeting, as we did hear the really heartbreaking news that Doug Bidgel has passed away. Among so many other things, Doug was a super committed resident member on our CSC and has been with us really since the start of the process for over 5 years. He was a hugely dedicated advocate in the Stockton community, with our group, a huge champion of air quality, outside of this, an advocate for disability rights and really all processes being inclusive. I know just as a team, we all kind of in hearing the news had reflected that we had the privilege of learning so much from him. He's definitely helped us become a better agency, kind of with all of his advocacy for the community. And I'll always really just remember how animated, passionate, enthusiastic he was for bringing change, and really a lot of improvements to the Stockton community. And I feel so incredibly lucky that we had the chance to work alongside him for so many years, and that we got to really learn a lot from his insights, his lived experiences, and for all of that to make our process better. And so we're so grateful to him. And, Doug was such an important part of this process. So I did just want to take, this, time to invite everyone in a moment of silence just to recognize Douglas. I know this has definitely been a lot, so I do think I'll pass to the Harder and Company team to really facilitate. If there's any, I'm sure folks have maybe reflections or things they might want to share about Douglas. I'll pass over to Jared.
Yeah, thank you, Steph. Um, yeah, we know we plan meetings and life has other plans, and so we definitely want to hold the space just for I think the loss of the Stockton community. And so, if anyone has like a reflection or something they want to say to honor Douglas, we have a few moments to do so. So you can either come off mute or type it in the chat. But we have the space to do so. I see your hand, Mary Elizabeth.
So I was thinking about Doug again today. And he was so awesome and courageous. And never let nothing hold him back. And it's easy to sometimes, pass on something. And he's will be a motivator for many, I hope.
Thank you so much, Mary Elizabeth. I know many folks in the community feel the same way that you do, so thank you. I saw something in the chat from Stacy. He will be missed. Very sad to hear this news. Is there anyone else that wants to say a few words about Douglas? And we also know that, grief is tough. And so I'm holding space throughout the meeting if folks need time to step away or, grab water. There's always a space to do that as folks, I think, are processing in real time. Not seeing anything else in the chat or any hands off mute. But I know as memories come up or thoughts maybe process, always feel free to leave it in the chat. Always feel free to email us if there's things that you want us to highlight about the life and the amazing work that you all have accomplished with Douglas. And we're leaving space during this meeting to be a little more fluid. I see Bobby and Jasmine Marie. I see your all's hands raised.
Hey, Jazzy here again, and I just wanted to take the time while we have it to just acknowledge that I didn't work directly with Douglas a lot, but I watched Douglas in this space as well as the mayor's roundtable. I've worked previously with Douglas for the mayor's roundtable for people with disabilities, and he was a champion for the people and all of the spaces that he occupied, not just this one. And so definitely an inspirer of a human being. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And Nate, I see that you're off. Oh, Nate, were you going to say anything or off mute on accident?
Well, since you called on me, if you can hear me, I will. I'm doing this by phone from Las Vegas. I've never tried this before, and I'm low tech, but I guess I got through. Yeah, Doug was very dedicated, as said earlier, very courageous, and he worked. He was always super prepared. He knew his material, always punctual, and obviously overcame many difficulties to join the meetings and be such a civic advocate. So we're all very grateful to him. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I just wanted to say, this is Everett. I just wanted to say that I really appreciated working alongside Doug and watching him. I think that it's very assuring that we are all individuals, and he was an individual that stood his ground. An individual, as Nate was saying, that came prepared, and I just wanted to just quote a few words here. The scripture in Isaiah 57 says that righteous men perish and no man gives it a thought, and merciful men are taken away. None considereth that the righteous is taken away from the evil that's come upon this earth. And I'm just grateful that we got a chance to experience um, Doug in his fullty. All right, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Everett. And thank you everyone for your reflections, your memories. I think feel free to type them in the chat as our meeting progresses. And I think if anything, more testament to the great work you all have been able to do with Douglas, and I think the great work that can still be done in his legacy. So thank you all so much for your remarks and your reflections. So I think with that, and again, just extending our condolences to the Stockton community of just such a monumental loss. As we keep the work going, we can transition to the next part of our meeting that is to touch on the action items tracker. So at this time, we'll spend a few moments reviewing the action items tracker. Some of you all might be familiar. The action items tracker is a tool that we use to help develop transparency and accountability between the Air District and the community. The Air District continually updates this tracker to ensure that voices are heard and progress towards implementing your suggestions. As a reminder, at the end of every meeting, we share action items and encourage any members to add action items that should be tracked. So as Rocio provides these updates, please feel free to ask for any questions or clarification. With that, I will pass it to Rocio.
Thank you, Jared. This is Rocio. I'll go ahead and share my screen to get started with the action items. Can folks see my screen? Thank you. So these are the action items from the June CSC meeting that we had. So I'll go ahead and get started with the few that we have in the pending section. The first action item was for the district to reach out to folks that provide EV mechanic training to seek interest for folks to take advantage of the EV mechanic training program that we have. And so we will circle back with the CSC with more information on this. And moving on to the next action item, I know folks were interested in receiving or getting updates on liquidation deadlines for the SERP measures. So we will plan to have a presentation on this at next month's meeting. Going back to the top, and then I'll move on to the completed section. I'll go ahead and pause right here. Mary Elizabeth, I do see your hand is raised.
So on that EV mechanic item that was asked for back in June, is that something that's going to come forward in September as well? There's, I think, a real need, for there to be some like organizing amongst all the different grants that have some kind of workforce development involved, some kind of green workforce environment or environmental job. And so I just like to, when you're reaching out to organizations, what organizations are you reaching out to? Maybe we have some other suggestions for you.
Thank you, Mary Elizabeth. I'm wondering if Steph or Sarah have any more information to share about this one.
This is Stephanie. I'm happy to maybe high level, maybe respond to Mary. And then I do think, Mary, to your point, I think this may be worth a later item. You all might recall we had a pretty intensive process through our EV mechanic training subcommittee, led by a couple folks on the CSC, where we worked with quite a few different organizations. Some of the ones that are definitely coming to the top of my mind right now are a couple. We worked with the San Joaquin County Office of Ed. We also worked with Valley Clean Air Now, and we worked with also a couple of dealerships, and kind of because there's a process there also for folks that through dealerships to kind of get interns to bring on kind of like staff to learn, because it's a crucial process kind of on the dealership sides too. So I'm happy to maybe also follow up and reshare those notes. I think at an upcoming meeting, we can plan to share some of the updates related to that outreach. But we did have a pretty comprehensive and kind of long update that Taylor and Ed Ward led at the EV mechanics subcommittee. But Mary, we can follow up with you also directly if there's any kind of new contacts that maybe we haven't hit. We can certainly follow up with you.
Well, I just was wondering, when we were going to get another update on where we are and spending this money for EV mechanic training.
Yeah, I do think Harder, can we note that as, I mean, it is an action item, but if we can also have that as an action item to follow up on this item. And then we can follow up on that and bring it to an upcoming meeting.
Thank you.
Making note of that.
Okay, so moving on to the completed action item. So this was a question that came up at the June CSC meeting as well. And this was just to confirm for the lawnmower exchange event that happened at the end of June to see if folks who were participating would receive extra batteries for the lawnmowers that they were receiving that day. And so we did go ahead and confirm that residents would receive one battery and one battery charger along with their new electric lawnmower. And Steel did provide double warranty for the customers who purchase a second battery within 15 days of the event. And so I'll go ahead and pause here to see if folks have any more questions on any of the action items.
This is Jazzy. There will be another lawnmower replacement event. Is that right? Is that what we talked about?
This is Stephanie. Maybe I'll just jump in. We have actually fun updates about the one that just happened and updates about an upcoming one during our CERT presentation. So we will certainly get to that later in the meeting.
Great question. Thank you. Do folks have any other additional questions on the action items? Don't see any more hands raised, so I'll go ahead and end it here. But if folks have any other questions throughout the meeting, feel free to drop it in the chat or send me a message.
Thank you, Rocio, and thank you for everyone that asked questions and clarified some of the updates. And it sounds like more exciting updates are coming down the meeting, so looking forward to hear about that. At this time, I think we can transition to our first presentation, which is on the wildfire outreach and education. The Air District will be providing updates regarding wildfire outreach as well as education to inform community members on how to stay safe as wildfire season approaches. While the Air District is presenting, please let us know what's coming up for you. If there are any concerns, questions, or general reflections regarding outreach efforts and safety measures. And with that, I think I will pass it to Heather.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Heather Hanks. I'm the program manager in the Outreach and Communications Department at the Air District. I'm going to honor Douglas in my best presentation yet by going slow and being paced as I would have if he were here. But thank you, Rocio. Rocio's sharing so that I can give you all the good details. And I do want to say really quickly that it is a pleasure being in this space with all of you. And while I said Douglas taught me something, I learned from all of you too. And so I just want to give you a sincere thank you for providing your time and attending this and being at this process and doing this work with us, because those of us on this side are truly impacted. Sorry, I didn't expect to have some trouble. That being said, I just want to thank the rest of you for doing what you do. Okay, shaking that off, ready to jump in. All right, the first slide that you're going to see on the screen, they're going to drop a link in chat so that you can pull it up yourself and maybe zoom in, because I recognize there is a lot of information in front of you. But we're very proud of this sort of a flyer or handout on the types of burning in the valley. I think in general, the public maybe doesn't even have a sense of the various things we deal with as an agency, or the various sources of PM 2.5 in sort of the general sense. And this material walks through that. Starts with burning trash, explains that we have a rule and it's also a state law and it's illegal. Burn barrels can't happen. Please report it anytime you see it. Just the basics. Burning trash is illegal. If you see it, let us know. Then we move into residential wood burning, which we do talk a lot about, and we have Rule 4901 that governs it. And as we've talked about many times, it's basically a program to guide activity, wood burning specifically, during the winter season. And in every county, including San Joaquin, we make a daily declaration during the winter to let you know if burning in your fireplace is going to just be too much of a load on the pollution in the atmosphere. And we give you that information. We also, in that same space, try and convince you and urge you and educate you about PM 2.5 and the health impacts and ways to not contribute to local pollution. And then, of course, maybe not as much in the Stockton area specifically, but definitely across the valley, open ag burning, open agricultural burning. And we've talked about that recently too. And if you don't remember, we just sort of entered this next phase this year. We had been in a multi-phase process to eliminate open ag burning. There are still a handful of things that might be burned in that process, but they still follow the smoke management system and the very rigorous process we have for even allowing those smaller amounts. The district has an alternatives to ag burning program that has been very well received and utilized, and growers in the community can actually apply for incentive to help them either chip, shred, reincorporate that material somewhere else instead of burning it when they're eliminating an entire orchard or major piles of ag waste. Then we have hazard reduction burning. Folks that live in a foothill community or near the foothills or maybe travel and have family there probably are far more familiar with this. This is where it is required and encouraged of folks that live up there to reduce the vegetation right around their home, and sort of clear space and remove hazards so that if a wildfire does come into play, the chances for their home to be safe is greater. We also encourage those folks that do that same process to chip and mulch and not burn the same way. However, there is a process, and we work closely with CAL FIRE, and folks definitely still have to communicate with us and work with us to be safe during hazard reduction burning. And then there's prescribed burning. Prescribed burning is, the major agencies, land management agencies, the Forest Service, CAL FIRE, if you will, that go in and control burn off vegetation so that it doesn't become massive fuel during a wildfire. It says around 25% of California, which is about 11 million people, live within foothills and areas like this, right? Vegetative areas in mountainous communities that could threaten their home. We also have fun QR codes on this flyer. We've thanks to COVID, I think the QR code is here to stay. In the beginning, it had just sort of mixed reaction, and now it's everywhere. And your phones can just read it for you very quickly. But on that column, we'll get you over to CAL FIRE. So if you are in a mountain community and want to apply for a permit and figure out how that works, get you right there, even to the U.S. Forest Service, so you can understand their approach to prescribed burning and taking care of our forests. And then, of course, the final column, our least favorite, wildfires. And while we certainly have no control over that, we can make concerned and very specific decisions to protect ourselves and be safe and do hazard reduction burning and get the tools in our home to protect ourselves when that happens. And I'm going to dig further into that now. Next slide. So we definitely, I think you know this, we spend a lot of time talking to schools. We're very excited about the relationships we've built certainly in Stockton Unified too, just through our extensive work in this program, but all across the valley. We've got really good contact lists and relationships with school districts so that, one, they know they can come to us for information about air quality, but two, they know what to do. We don't wait for them to come to us. We certainly, an example on this slide is just we send emails fairly regularly out to our contacts. We've got probably 4 or 5 staff that work in the school space. If you can imagine, there's 1,500 schools in the valley, so we have a lot of ground to cover. But even then, the newsletter might get sent by that person that works in that county, and administrator writes back, and we start having conversations, and we're able to get them, no idling signs, or we're able to point out that there's an app, or just in general air quality education. It flows better based on these relationships. So happy to say that even weird episodes like maybe a fire or something, we have the ability and the contacts to reach out and be immediately in touch with Valley schools. Next slide. And in the same vein, it's our job to communicate with everyone, not just schools. We prioritize timely, accurate air quality updates. Our goal is to engage the public throughout. So when the episode occurs, you know what to do. You have a sense. You already know you're a sensitive receptor, or you have an air purifier, or you know where to turn to for, daily look at air quality, or, you have sort of the habits ingrained. That's our goal. And we try and continue that message throughout the year pertaining to wildfires and any air quality information across all of our platforms, our earned and owned platforms, which includes our website, our social media channels, excuse me. And then, of course, just relationships with the media and getting news and coverage that way. Next slide. Oh, and I didn't say it, but and the team, I'm sure, will help me. Feel free, interrupt if you've got a question or I hit on something and didn't finish the thought. I would be happy to be interrupted. The other thing that happened during COVID in the communication world that we work in is it became widely accepted to do Zoom interviews. And we're so thankful for that. It used to just be a no-no in, the journalist world. You had to be in person. You weren't doing your job if you didn't go out and talk to that person and hold a microphone in front of them. And thanks to sort of the evolution of the world, we have the ability to touch base with Sacramento media market, Fresno media market, and the Bakersfield media market in a heartbeat. During the really intense summer of wildfires that we had, I think it was 2020, we would have a briefing on Fridays, or maybe every other Friday, where we invited all the media, and we made good relations with the county health office, and they would join us too, and we would just give updates about wildfires and what to expect and where resources existed, etc. And so we're proud of that too. Next slide. And then, of course, the world of technology faces all of us on a daily basis. We have an app. We have the Valley Air app. It's been downloaded many, many, many times, 73,000 according to my slide. But I get that it's another app. We encourage you to find an app that you like. Find the one that works in your daily habit. We encourage the public to do the same. If it's SJV Air, if it's our Valley Air app, if it's the Air Now app, which EPA provides, maybe if it's just checking air quality at the bottom of your weather app, we encourage the public to understand and be in touch with resources. Next slide, there's a couple more. We go to the next slide. Yeah, that one is the Purple Air one, and another example on the left is the Air Now Fire and Smoke Map. We've shown that here before. There's a prominent link on our wildfire page to that fire and smoke map, and it's fascinating, mostly because you can also back out the view and see what's happening in Canada and other places that we hear about in the news in the way of wildfire spots. Next slide. We've got our tried and true translated into 4 different languages. Infographics. We have this one that we've had for some time. We've been improving it over the years. Just sort of basically explains and tries to get down to the A plus B equals C of why PM 2.5 is bad for us and why wildfire smoke is bad for us. It's in Punjabi, Hmong, and Spanish. Next slide. And then in the last several months, we're proud to say we developed this infographic. This infographic moves from the health education side to the, hey, what do I actually do? There's a wildfire, what do I do? And how do I do it? And where do I go? And so infographics, if you will, are communication tools. I'm going to put us on blast right now because technically speaking, the industry standard says we have too many words on our infographic right now, right? It's supposed to be graphically informative. But as you can imagine, there's a lot to tell folks when it comes to protecting yourself from wildfire smoke. And so this little infographic talks about clean air rooms, wearing a mask, clean air centers, and just locating public resources. And of course, the fun little QR code that'll get you right to the fire and smoke map, which is handy and useful. And maybe I'll show it to you before I'm done here. Next slide. I can't see you all, but raise your hand if you got a purifier from us. Yay, purifier. I see Nate. There was Nate. So, clean air rooms. Awesome program. Hey, shout out. We still have some in the boundary, but we've given away a bunch more this year. We've done some great work. But if you don't know what that is the program to get folks a purifier in their home. It's not a whole home purifier, it's an in-room purifier. But the underserved community can reach out to us. Certainly AB617 is well inventoried, but we've run out of inventory in several of our counties across the valley-wide program. So it was definitely well received and something that we constantly communicate to the public. There are ways to protect yourself, and here are tools to protect yourself. And in the basic, follow up later after they've gotten their purifier, send them a coupon and an email. I think we've talked about that here before. Margot, I see your hand.
Yeah, hi. Maybe we're going to talk about this later in the program, but how many are left in our program?
Yes, there's an update. Steph's shaking her head.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you, Steph.
Thank you.
Coming with the details. We will get you an update. So yes, back to your point, Margot. Let's more to talk about there, and that's still a significant piece of our wildfire outreach efforts. Next slide. In addition, clean air centers. I was chatting with the team today, and we are closing in on like 65, 70 is our goal. I think there's probably in the 50s active right now, and we're like 52 or 3, and we're bringing like 11 on in Merced soon. And happy to say that there's at least half a dozen or so in your county, including the Boggs Track Community Center, Garden Acres Community Center, Kennedy, Lodi Community Center. Oh, that's in the county. Northeast, Taft. There's a few other places, the Tracy Islamic Center. But basically, these are public spaces that have public hours, or they've agreed to take our funding and get the very higher end commercial grade purifier to do the larger space and turn those on and host the public when we have air quality episodes. There's definitely a rule tied to it, so we would need to be in this air alert sort of protocol that we've got established, but you would certainly know. And I'm going to go ahead and knock on my desk. We've had a mild summer and have not had to even, I don't want to say it. We haven't had to go there. So when we do go there, the very specific part of the process is alerting all of the many agencies and partners we have out in this program to put out their signs, open their doors if they didn't already have public hours, and then just be the place for clean air. People that don't have maybe they have a swamp cooler, maybe they simply just don't want to run their unit, they're watching their budget. So this gives them a place to go and kind of like cooling centers, but breathe easier during episodes of poor air quality. Next slide. This our wildfire page. If one of Rocio would drop in the chat, it's www.valleyair.org/wildfires. I see it's on the screen too, but if you wanted to link to it and jump over to the page, we love this page. It is like a decade old, and it didn't look anything like this in the beginning, and I'm really proud of it. I took a snapshot recently, so that actually is a current fire that you. Oh, good. There you go. That is happening now. The largest fire this summer is currently happening. It's kind of down between San Luis Obispo and Santa Barbara County. It's, I think, 90,000 plus acres now. And the reason you haven't heard a lot about it is, unfortunately for Las Vegas and our friends in Nevada, it's been sort of pushing out into the ocean and then catching the jet stream over into Nevada and not coming up into the valley. There's the page. Hey, cool, thank you. So active page like this, they're showing it on the screen. You can click on that. And so the cool thing is you don't have to, but if you wanted, you could click on the Gifford Fire, find out exactly where it's at, how big it is, the latest information. That's for, on the curious side. I'm more concerned with showing you the resources on this page you see on the left side. Basically a whole bunch of resources, places you can click to see satellite imagery. Like you could definitely see the Gifford Fire by satellite. That's that air quality information link. There's certainly a quick link to the clean air centers and rooms that I've already talked about, but basic information, do it yourself, is on the screen. That temporary air purifier. They've even done some more research on that, and there's like a fancier version of that. But everything we've learned collectively, we've tried to make readily available to the public in this space, so they can protect themselves and work in advance before the major episode hits, and so not find themselves scrambling when there's dark sky looming and they can't breathe. I think that was my last slide. Do you have any questions, comments, suggestions, any of those things for me? I know I talked a lot, so I just said it all, right? Quieted you all up. No, it's a pleasure to talk to you tonight. Thank you so much.
I see your hand up, Mary Elizabeth. Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, thanks. I was just wondering about, here in Stockton, we smell smoke from time to time, like not even like just a couple of nights ago,
Mhm.
and I had to make sure that I called, and told a family member to make sure they close up their windows. But I don't think those are mostly wildfires, like, is there been any effort to like work with the fire department? When there's when they go out on a fire, that somebody, dispatch, notify you also. Because when we smell the fire, there's really no place to know, where
Could
it's
find
coming from.
information.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I was wondering if any effort or any like all that collaboration
Yes.
that you guys are doing, maybe that seems like a missing link, and I really want to thank you for putting on that infographic there about putting on a mask, because when we smell the smoke, we just need to, be protected if we've got to keep still working out there.
Thank you for the chance to explain that angle, Mary Elizabeth. We do. We work, maybe not every single fire agency in the valley, but we have great relationships with many of those departments. Oftentimes, partly because they get in touch with us because they do training burns and things, and so there's just a little bit of back and forth in our relationship. But yes, major incidents, they're calling us, right? We're going to go out there and get on the ground and see if there's a ticket to issue. But in the general sense, in our internal process, our compliance team hears about that, alerts us, and then yes, so we definitely do benefit from that relationship, and probably could even do a little bit further to your point.
Yeah,
Oh,
thank you for
and
that question.
one more
Yes.
endorsement. Thank you, Mary Elizabeth. Yes, please. If you smell the smoke, maybe we need to do the do you smell an odor? We did oh, gosh, I'm sorry, I can't talk. We did a postcard campaign in one of our other communities that had a very distinct picture on the front that talked about smells and weirdness and trying to convince or educate the public that those aren't normal and you should let us know so we can investigate. So maybe we do something like that too. Okay, I'll be quiet. Go ahead, Jared.
No, thank you so much. Any other questions or reflections regarding the resources for fires, air quality, and wildfire season? Well, I'm not seeing any hands raised or anything in the chat. Yeah, so again, if anything comes up, feel free to pop your questions in the chat and we'll try to answer them, or we'll provide answers at our next meeting. But yeah, thank you all for your engagement. Thank you for your question, Mary Elizabeth, and thank you, Heather, for all those updates and resources. Is anyone else having issues loading the link? Oh, okay, I do see your comment, Jazzy, about the link. We will try to make sure that if maybe a new link can be sent that's updated, or yeah, just see if that's working for everybody else.
Yeah, this is Amy. It's a link, Rocio, to your internal PDF. So if you could update the link, that'd be great.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Heather, for those updates. That was amazing. And I think, yeah, learned so much about all the resources in the community. I think with that, we are able to transition to our next presentation, which is SERP implementation updates. So during this next portion of the meeting, the Air District will be providing a high-level SERP implementation update. As a refresher, back in April, when we met in person at the in-person CSC meeting, CSC members received updates on various measures during our community gallery walk. And then back in May, the Air District provided updates on heavy-duty measures. Today, and largely based off of many of the questions and reflections that have come directly from the CSC, their Air District will provide a very high-level informational update on heavy-duty truck replacement, passenger vehicle replacement, and clean air rooms. As the Air District shares these updates and key insights, we encourage you all to ask questions via the chat, raise your Zoom hand, or come off mute and ask your questions or provide some insight. And so with that, I will pass it to Sarah for our next presentation.
Thank you, Jared. Let me share my screen here. All right, can you all see my presentation? Perfect. For this presentation, I will be going over some SERP measures to update you all on their status. In addition, I'll be sharing two really great videos that the outreach team here at the district put together for your community. One video highlights the June Lawnmower Exchange / Tune In Tune Up event. And the other highlights the partnership that we have with Stockton Unified School District and their participation with the Commercial Lawn and Garden Grant Program. First, we'll start it off with the lawnmower trade-in and tune and tune up event that was put on by Valley Can on June 28th at the fairgrounds. As you can see with these numbers, we'd like to say we had a really successful event that day. 400 residents exchanged their old polluting gas mower with a new electric zero-emission mower. We also had 450 residents participate in the tune in tune up portion of that event. Those folks received vouchers that helped with fixing emission related issues on their vehicles. And lastly, we signed up 141 residents to receive a free air purifier through the Clean Air Rooms grant program. And we just wanted to say that we are grateful for the CSC. These types of events only take place because of you all. The CSC supports them and reallocates funds to put on these events. And I know you all share the events with your network. They're really well received events by the community members. Some of them are even featured in our video that I will play right now. Let me get that up and running. Oops.
So we're out here in Stockton this morning. We're going to have about 550 cars turn out. They're able to, thanks to the Valley Air District, get all kinds of help today with small repair to make sure that they can re-register their vehicle. They can replace their gas-powered lawnmower with a much more efficient a battery-powered one. They can get a home air purifier. All these things are going to help to improve air quality and health and affordability in San Joaquin Valley. And this is all thanks to the Valley Air District being so supportive about really meeting the needs of the residents who need the most help here.
Applying was simple. We were able to apply online. Probably took less than 5 minutes, and just came in, give them our paperwork, and signed us off. We'll just wait in line to get out of here. So easy peasy.
So are you happy that you're contributing to like a healthy air, healthy Stockton?
Super excited, and I want the electric one. My mom has one, and she's been telling me to get one, and I finally got one, so I'm super excited to even try it out.
So let me get back to that presentation. All right. Well, I think that was an amazing video, and we hope that you all liked it as well. And just to mention, we are planning another event just like that one. First, we are going to visit some of our other AB617 communities, like Fresno at the end of this month to do a similar event, and Arvin Lamont towards the end of the year. And then we'll come back to Stockton around springtime next year, before the heat is what we're planning. And we will let you all know when we have that exact date nailed down. Next, I'll move on to our heavy-duty truck replacement measure. Overall, during the last couple meetings, we have been giving you all updates on this measure. And even though we didn't meet last month, we have been doing a lot of meetings outside of the CSC meetings with folks, looking to replace their trucks and, trying to figure out how to do more outreach in this area. Currently, we are still working with Wes at Kingsburg Truck Center, who you all previously met at a CSC meeting a couple months ago, just to help us reach potential applicants. Last month, we had a meeting with Wes and Stockton Unified School District to see if the school district could take advantage of any of the available funding. Stockton Unified has a lot of vehicles, a pretty comprehensive list of medium and heavy duty vehicles. So right now we're going through their fleet, and hopefully we'll have more updates for you all soon. And overall, just as needed, our plan is to work with CARB to see if there are any heavy duty truck projects that we can fund through a project plan process. I'll move on to the passenger vehicle replacement program, where you all recently supported reallocating $4 million to that program in the March CSC meeting. That was just earlier this year. That reallocation meant that Valley Can could return to hosting their weeknight workshops in the community to help with applicants, help them apply for the program and just explain more about the program. Those are really well attended events that we like having. In addition, the district is also attending other events to help promote our passenger vehicle replacement program, such as ride and drive events in the area. And this is where organizations bring electric vehicles so people can test out to see how they drive and if they like them. Please continue to share this program with your network and other community members so that we can get even more of the older polluting cars replaced with better vehicles. And I know this slide has some great numbers, but I actually have an update. Our grants department just sent an email right before the meeting, so I couldn't update the slide, but we actually have 6 more applications that we received this week. So now, I know it says 174, but now we are up to 180 applications in your community. So it's just growing by the minute, basically. Margot?
Yeah, a couple things. So
Yeah.
it looks like there's 4 million still remaining,
Yes.
right? Is that correct? And that's assuming these 100, however many applications go through, correct?
Yeah, most of these 180 applications are if not done, almost done.
So are they included in that 2,782,000?
They are, yeah. We're confident that they should go
So
through.
the 4 million is not yet promised anywhere.
It is not, and that's why we, we're still trying to go to different outreach events, such as ride and drive events. We're trying to promote our program, with Valley Can's help through social media, and then with you all, if you all can tell your networks as well. But yes, we do still have 4 million remaining.
So back to your first sentence on this page, funding in the surplus, 6,800,000. Is that where we started, or is that after reallocating from other entities?
The 6,800,000 is the total, including reallocations.
Okay. Well, but that would tell me that 6 million has been reallocated to it. That means that we started with 800,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we started with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, so we need to be figuring out what we're going to do with the money, right?
This is Stephanie. Can I add very quickly? Hi, everyone. I did just want to add, yeah, just some context. Margot I think, is walking us back kind of down memory lane of kind of how we started with this measure. There was only about 800K, which when we opened the program, we knew it would go immediately because there was already a lot of interest kind of through our Valley-wide program. And so we did a couple of reallocations with the committee. I will just say, I know it feels like it has been a minute since March. There's work that we had to do internally to kind of update some amendments, kind of with Valley Can, and we did those pretty immediately, but that is a kind of a process we need to follow. But overall, in just a few months, like Sarah's saying, we have seen kind of applications and we do continue to see them. I don't know that you should feel alarmed that there is 4 million still in this measure because Stockton's boundary is a rather large one, and it's historically been a place that has a lot of engagement with this program. So I just want to say we'll continue to bring updates to you all, but overall, from what we've seen through our experience kind of running this program valley-wide, Stockton's always been a strong participant in this program. And if it gets to the case that we feel that, we're seeing the numbers drop down in the workshops, we're not seeing applications come through, we'll definitely let you all know. But so far, kind of month to month, we've been hearing from Valley Can that we continue to get a healthy number of applicants to the workshops. And every month we're still continuing to get applicants through the program itself.
Because we have till 2026, correct?
So we have around July of next year is kind of generally that 5-year milestone. I will just share, and it's something that I've shared kind of in a couple previous meetings, is there are a lot of residential measures that this measure didn't kick off, right when we finish the SERP. It did take a little bit of time to kick off that program. And so we're not interested in, if all possible, we're not interested in stopping a program, when it hasn't had time to kind of for folks to apply into it. So we do anticipate this program, if there's still funding in it kind of through next year, we want to try really hard with you all to continue to keep the program open so we can get applicants.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Can we go back to the prior SERP as well? Go back one page.
Oh yeah. Oops, sorry.
Heavy duty trucks. So at the in-person meeting we had when was that? Was that April or June? I don't know, whenever that was. Anyway, knowing how difficult this issue is in terms of designating the money, we had a brief discussion at the table. I'm not sure it went anywhere, but we had a brief discussion about potentially one of the issues around the heavy duty trucks is there's no infrastructure. And might we ought to consider some of this money for infrastructure?
Yes.
So just food for thought. Is someone looking at that or thinking about that, or is there any work going on around that, or is that a moot point?
This is Stephanie. Margot, I appreciate you bringing that up, and I want you to know that it definitely went somewhere after the meeting. Our whole kind of table heard that feedback. We actually just met with literally just yesterday, Sarah and I met with Jermaine at Stockton Unified and a few other and other their grant writer as well. And I do think it's a good and worthwhile avenue to explore. So that's already a conversation that we're having with them that we continue to discuss with them in that meeting. It does become it is a complicated topic, as you might imagine, with so many schools and kind of it fitting into their plan. Um, Stockton Unified isn't here, so I'm sure they have lots of other things to say about this. But overall, they have a really big vision for electrifying everything, like their fleets with school buses, trucks, their lawn and garden equipment, which you'll hear a little bit more about today. So they have a big vision and a big plan and are trying to see how kind of the funding that we have through the SERP, the opportunities that we have here kind of fit into that vision. So I want you to know that those conversations are happening, and I think it's a great idea. And this is again one of those things like Sarah mentioned. There is a lot that we're working through with Stockton Unified, and so I just want you all to know that we continue to work with them kind of on this topic, and we'll bring updates to you all hopefully soon here.
Okay. Well, because it's not only Stockton Unified, I mean, Port of Stockton, we hope is encouraging their tenants to transition to zero emission, as well as other truck agencies. And I just wonder if, or even bringing in, what is that big infrastructure company that develops things, like did it around Bakersfield, I think. I don't know if it did it around Fresno as well. And I think they're in Oakland as well area, but they kind of bypass Stockton. Does that ring a bell? I don't remember the name of the company that is installing the infrastructure. So just kind of, I'll try and get more information on that because I can't remember.
Yeah, Stephanie, I can jump in too if you'd like.
Thanks, Brian.
Margot, I think the company that you're referring to is called Watt EV. That is
Yes.
a project in Bakersfield, and they're working on some other ones. And in terms of like their deployment, I think they have plans to greatly expand throughout the state in the next several years. Beyond that, and I don't know if it's in the SERP or not, but we do have typically incentive funding for infrastructure projects as well. So when we're talking to fleets, we let them know that there's options for electrification infrastructure to help support that. I think the bigger issues and challenges that we're faced with right now are just kind of uncertainty in terms of the regulatory landscape, the availability of trucks, the ACF waiver that was probably necessary in order to, move the needle greatly in this field was withdrawn earlier this year. So I think there's, in terms of like what the industry is going through, I think just a lot of uncertainty on how to move forward with some of these projects. So I think trying to identify the fleets that might have a little bit more interest has definitely been a challenge, but we continue to do outreach with a lot of different stakeholders trying to get those projects accomplished. It's just it's very challenging right now in that sector, and not just with us, but it kind of across the state. When I talk to colleagues at other air districts, kind of facing similar issues with the truck sector, and I know CARB is trying to work through some issues that might make it a little bit easier to fund truck projects right now, or to increase the scope of who might be able to participate, but it's kind of a slow going process on that side of things right now as well.
Okay, thank you. So Stephanie, you will keep us informed if we need to be concerned about how much money is sitting in this SERP.
Yes.
And not going anywhere.
Certainly.
Okay. So we don't lose it. We don't want to lose it. Thank you. And this one might have it's not like the car replacement. This one might have nowhere to go, Thank you.
Thank you, Margot. Mary, did you have a question?
Thank you. Yeah, that was a great idea, to use this for some heavy duty charging. And so that's something that really the Port of Stockton would need to do outreach to their tenants on that. And, I think that the Home Depot, for example, said that, the port was only requiring 2, but in a public meeting, besides committing to $300 for a community benefit, which it seems some of that money is going to build a well at Boggs Track Farm, but to put in three, and so I think that that the port, in their visioning, should see. I know they don't want to do things to run after to get money, they want to be more strategic, but I think that that's definitely something that they should be thinking about taking advantage of for that infrastructure. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary. I will move on to this. Oh, we did that one. Clean air rooms. All right. I'll talk a little bit about the Clean Air Rooms residential air filter program. And Margot, to your earlier question, we do have a lot of units left. We have 2,937 units to be exact. And that is a lot. That is more than half the units left from that were allocated in our SERP. The district heard your feedback that you all wanted us to increase our outreach efforts for this program. And in the last couple months, we have done a direct mail out campaign where we sent out over 21,000 flyers in your Stockton AB617 community to members, to their households. In addition, we did social media outreach and some direct outreach to schools, churches, medical offices, and community centers. Overall, we did see an increase in applications from these outreach efforts, especially from the direct mailer campaign and from the in-person lawn and garden / tune in tune up event on June 28th. But there is still over half the funding in this measure remaining. Since we do have quite a bit of money left for this program, we wanted to tee up the possibility to expand this program and use a quarter of the overall clean air room funds to help fund air purifiers for sensitive receptors. And that would be like daycares, elderly care facilities, retirement homes, places like that. As a reminder, we did have a conversation about this expansion a couple months ago, and we just want to bring up the possibility of this program expansion as a main topic in the September CSC meeting. And I just wanted to, say again, it wouldn't be all of the funding. It would just be 25% of the overall funding, which is $250,000. So we will still have a lot of money reserved for residential air filtration, but we can talk about it more in detail at the next CSC meeting. Ooh, next up, I'll move on to our commercial lawn and garden update. You all may remember that we worked with Stockton Unified School District to reallocate some funds to commercial lawn and garden. To highlight these new units that they received and their partnership and all the great work that's been done around this program, we put together this short video that I will pull up in a second. All right.
My name is Jermaine Reese. I am the NG Education Specialist at Stockton Unified School District. I was fortunate enough to get the opportunity to work with Valley Air with the ZEL program to actually move our district forward into being more energy efficient for our community and for our workers. When it came to working with Valley Air, it was a seamless transition. I would say that Stockton Unify is at 90 to 95% grounds equipment fully electric. you need to try it and then you'll see the benefits. And yes, you do save money by using these equipments, but we can't only look at the money part of this. We also need to look at the higher benefits, which is the health part. So you're looking out for your workers, students, and community at the same time by transitioning.
Awesome. Let me get back to my PowerPoint here. All right. We hope that you guys enjoyed that video. Thanks to Heather and her team for putting that together. And next, I will pass it off to Heather, who will talk a little bit about the outreach efforts in your community.
Hello again. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Twice in one night. I'm so excited. All right, we've been busy. We learned, well, we always learn. And in doing school outreach or preparing for school outreach over the last several years, we started earlier this year, and it has proven very successful. Most recently, I think on the screen, a couple of pictures, we've attended some events. We were at, if you've heard of KIPP Charter Schools, that's a new sort of collection of schools that we've found ourselves breaking into, if you will, and they've got no idling signs, and we've been to their back to school events and an orientation and making ourselves known there. And I think that's what these pictures are. We're also working on a couple of elementary schools that are in Boundary, but we haven't been to yet. We go to lots of them, but just timing and responsiveness depends on, you know, kind of the season. And this year we're getting lucky. I think we're going to hit 2 that we haven't done before. We've also sort of moved along in trying to get direct opportunities, parent hours, those back to school events. We definitely like the drop off and pick up, but we've also learned that having the ability to have a specific conversation really opens doors and expands the education and the learning. And then once they understand it, they share it, and we spread our message that way. Is this the only slide? Do I have one more slide?
It is the only slide.
Okay.
But I can stop sharing so we can see you.
Sorry, I'm reading through my notes. We definitely are working on hitting fall events for clean air rooms. We're really aware now of the events that occur in Boundary versus out of Boundary, which sort of flood of attendees come from, like what part of are they regional attendees or are they Stockton-based attendees? And we're trying to be smart about all our visits to Stockton. So we're still at it. And as always, and I appreciate the couple of little shout outs even today, but opportunities for community events or things that you find yourself wanting to go to. If you all are wanting to go and be a part of it, sounds like we might be needing to be there too. So stay in touch, please.
Thanks, Heather. That concludes the SERP update presentation. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, Mary?
Say, Heather, can you put a link for a flyer and about for the air purifier? Print some out for the event on tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is Stephanie. Mary shares such a good reminder. If you all are going to, and a couple of you have reached out to us, if you all are going to a big event and we have a little bit of lead time, let us know. We can send you outreach materials. We can print the flyers. I know we sent some out to a few groups. I know that Everett just got some pretty recently. So let us know if you're prepping, we're happy to send them to you.
This Heather, thanks for that point, Steph. That's a very good point. We've actually hit on a couple of different agencies that are very willing to take those flyers and hand them out for us. So yeah, that's also an angle, even if we can't physically be there.
On the question, do we can we get another visual one day of the boundaries that we as far as we go, far as the west, and how far we go is the east, where our boundaries are. I know we have maps, that maps, but sometimes it's just good to look at where the areas that we're dealing with, so we know the locations of whatever we're dealing with, whether it's the trucks, whether it's the lawn and garden, or whatever the situation.
Mhm. Thanks, Everett. This is Stephanie. We do have a link to that. That way, if you feel comfortable and you're on your phone, you can just hop on. Or see if you want to pop that into the chat. But Everett, we also have a cool little flyer that just generally talks about the AB617 program. Maybe you all have like a neighbor or friend who wants to like apply for programs or wants to know about the monitoring. And we have a two-sided flyer that talks about the grant opportunities, the community air monitoring that's available to folks, and it has the map of the boundary on the back. So we can actually follow up and share that with you all.
Thank you.
All right, thanks everyone.
Yeah, thank you everyone for all the great questions, I think suggestions, and thank you Stephanie, Sarah, and Heather for the great updates. It seems like a lot of work has been done and a lot of work is being done to make sure that this community is able to spend the rest of that money. So a big kudos to everybody. At this time, we can transition to the latter part of our meeting with standing updates. At this time, we will be receiving some updates from some present agencies. Again, please feel free to ask any questions in the chat or after the updates are completed. And we have some exciting and some new updates. So before we get started, I will pass it to Sarah to give some additional context for some of our standing updates today.
This is Stephanie.
Actually,
Actually
pass
going
it
to be
to
me. Yeah, thanks, Jared. I just wanted to quickly provide some context for our next guest, who's actually new to our group. Overall, it's our commitment as a district to you all that, should there be other resources that you all can benefit from and is really adjacent to the work we're doing, we definitely want to be active partners and kind of share this information. And so we were reached out to by the Community Resource Project, who's doing work in San Joaquin County on weatherization program, among a couple other programs. And they were interested in getting in touch with this group, just knowing that you all are an active group that folks can participate, in this group, but then also you all are great at sharing information with your neighbors, friends, the networks you work with. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and pass over to, I believe it will be Isabel from the Community Resource Project.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me today. My name is Isabel. I'm the outreach coordinator for Community Resource Project. We are based out of Sacramento. We've been around for a little over 50 years. Let me see. Next slide, please. Sorry. There we go. Okay, just to get caught up. So we've been around since 1972, which is a little over 50 years. We do serve the Sacramento County, Yuba, Sutter, and now San Joaquin County. We have more than just the energy department, but to San Joaquin, for now, they're only introducing the services for free out here to the low income communities for the weatherization. Next slide, please. Next slide, please.
Presentation. Hello, everyone. Sorry, Rocio's computer is having some technical difficulties.
Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We will try to fix that. Sorry about that.
That's okay. I'm just trying to catch up. Let me see. So what we do is we do HVAC. We do we'll do the heating and cooling repair or replacement. We do windows and sliding door repair or replacement. We do water heaters, installation of walls, ceilings, floors, and attics, weather strippings and caulking to seal the home from the weather, installation of low flow shower heads, replacement of energy efficient lights and light bulbs, solar panels. The solar panels is not available yet to the general public, but it is for the farming community. So anybody who works in the agriculture can apply. And we have other, like I said, we have many, many more other things to offer. That is essentially what we're introducing to the San Joaquin County. We are working on through a federal and state grant. And that's pretty much it, what we have to offer the San Joaquin County for now. Our goal is to make every home energy efficient, to lower the energy usage, and to provide a better quality of life for the communities in need out here. And that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. The next slide, the last slide for this would have my information on there. Okay, so jump over to the Power Saver rewards. Let's see here. Okay, so this is, I don't know if any of you have heard of the Flex Alerts. This is through the EUC, which is the Energy Upgrade California, and they've just asked us to help promote this program. It runs until October, till the end of October. It's to help reduce the power during the highest usage of energy. So they've incentivized this program. And so by signing up, it's easy to sign up. It's completely voluntary. There's no penalties if you don't participate. But you do get a reward back, which is for every kilowatt hour saved during a Flex Solar activation, you receive $1 off. So that would be given back credited to your energy bill. So if you wind up saving 200 kilowatts, then that's $200, which is really nice. I've heard a lot of great feedback on this. It is a nice program. I hear just rumors floating around that this might be the last year of it. So I really, really advise everybody to jump on it and take advantage of this opportunity that's been given to us. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, this is during the heat wave. And of course, everybody gets it confused between the hours of 4 to 9 because that's typically PG&E's higher peak rates. So it's not to be confused. It is, again, during a Flex Alert activation. And you can simply apply through the QR code. It's super easy to do that. And like I said, during an alert, that's when if you participate through this, you can get either a text message or an email message, however you sign up, and they will send you a notification, and you can participate during those hours. Next. So they really recommend before 4 p.m. to cool your home, use your major appliances, cover your windows, charge your electronic devices, and then during 4 to 9, which is great anyway because 4 to 9 is their highest peak rate. Turn off any unused lights, unplug unused devices, set thermostat to 78 degrees or higher, and delaying using major appliances like your dishwasher, your washing machine, your dryer, etc. And I believe that concludes this presentation.
Thank you so much, Isabel. Margo, I see you came up.
This is Margo. You said you were going to give us your contact info. Isabel.
Yes, I think it didn't show because Rocio was having some problems with her computer, but you can reach.
Can you put it in the chat, maybe?
Yes, I can drop it in the chat. Not a problem. One second.
This is Stephanie. We'll follow up this meeting by sharing this entire presentation with you all as well. It'll have the contact information, and you can share this slide deck with all that are interested.
Thank you, Stephanie. Again, all this information will be emailed out to everybody, but any quick questions before we transition to our next update? Awesome. Well, again, if any questions come up, feel free to put them in the chat. And again, all that information will be sent out for you all to review. So thank you. And thank you so much, Isabella, for coming and giving those resources. That program sounds super exciting. So thank you. For our next standing update, Stephanie, do you have some context for that as well?
This is Stephanie. I do, only because maybe I just want to embarrass him a little bit. Carve is next on their standing updates, and I just want to take a second. Kyle will mention it in his updates, but we've been super lucky to have Kyle as our liaison in the Stockton community, and he's been doing such an amazing job connecting us to all of the resources, through Carb, and if not through Carb, I think Kyle still does his best to kind of connect us to whoever it may be. So I just wanted to thank him so much for playing his role. He's not going anywhere technically because he'll still be in the Office of Community Air Protection working more on the incentive sides, which I know that's kind of been Kyle's like bread and butter. But I think given all the work that's happening on the incentive side, I'm sure Kyle will take a minute to introduce kind of the person who will be joining our meetings now. But I just wanted to take a second to thank Kyle for all of his efforts and all of the contributions that he's kind of made to our group.
Yeah, Stephanie, you are far too kind. Thank you. Actually, so it's going to be Jennifer McGovern is going to be stepping in as the liaison for Stockton here at Carb. Unfortunately, she had sort of a last minute emergency pop up. So I guess I sort of proverbially have one foot still in the door or out the door, I guess, so to speak. But yeah, like Stephanie said, I'm still the main incentives point person for the entirety of the San Joaquin Valley, for Stockton specifically, of course. So, just like me stepping in as the Stockton liaison wasn't that big of a shift because I had already been the incentives point person. It's still kind of the same thing. I'm still community adjacent, I suppose, is probably the best term for it. I'll be just a quick teams paying away from Jen if she needs any help with incentive stuff, or if incentives are gonna be like a primary topic of discussion, and I know they often are here in Stockton, of course. So yeah, it shouldn't be as big of a change as it might sound. But yeah, beyond that, I don't have too much in terms of standing updates for Carb. But what I do have is pretty cool. I'm excited to share it. So just last week, not last week, it was 2 weeks ago at this point, we presented our annual report for AB617 to our board. I'll share a couple of links in the chat right now. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it was a really positive meeting, due pretty much directly in no small part to folks here in Stockton. And I suspect because quite a few of you probably know what I'm talking about. And the Air District staff, of course, Stephanie and everyone else. So this kind of brings me to the next item. Like I said, a lot of you probably are aware of this, but we've been working on a community highlight video for Stockton. And we unveiled it at the board hearing to a really positive reception. Let me drop a link to that as well in the chat. But I actually thought I can play it for y'all. You'll definitely see a lot of very familiar faces. But yeah, let me see if I can share my screen and successfully play this video. Let's see, share sound. That's the key one. Let's see. Here we go. Let's try it. I think we got it. Let's see. Can y'all see my screen? Oh, do I have audio here? Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
There's a small button to check right before you share that says share audio.
Oh, okay. Let's see if the audio is playing. Can you hear moving piano music?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. All right, here we go.
We have two large freeways running on either side of Stockton. We have the Port of Stockton in the heart of Stockton. Even though you can't see it, those very, very, very tiny particles, they call them PM 2.5, and the diesel particulates are in the air. They're getting into lungs, they're getting deep into lungs, and there they sit.
In every 5, we have 2 people in every classroom that is suffering from asthma. So it is a concern.
In this particular community is it's my home. It's my heart.
Our air quality is the way it is because people have been making decisions for us and not with us. And so it's really important for community members to be a part of those conversations and to make decisions for ourselves.
Stockton was prioritized by the Valley Air District and selected by the California Air Resources Board to be a part of AB617 to receive these focused resources. The Community Steering Committee, or CSC, that was formed to address the concerns in AB617 in Stockton is comprised of active residents, community-based organizations, partner agencies, partner businesses, all coming together to make sure that we're implementing their community emissions reduction program and community air monitoring plan in a way that feels community supported and in a way that they are participating in the clean air solutions.
I'm a resident, I'm a member of the steering committee, and we're all equal on the steering committee. The Air District is very instrumental in offering staff support, so we really appreciate that. But it's the committee that makes the decisions.
What I really appreciate about the community members in Stockton and the Community Steering Committee is how deeply everybody dived into implementation. It's really a model for just how much excitement there is and participation at the Community Steering Committee level to actually make sure we follow up on the commitments and follow through on the commitments we made in the SERP.
I've been a part of the weatherization and indoor air quality subcommittee. Our priority population are folks with asthma or other respiratory illnesses or conditions, elderly, children, low income families, and then the general AB617 community.
Through the Port Outreach Committee, initially we developed a clean air plan with the members of the committee to help strategize and prioritize, how we go after reducing emissions at the port. And that was a great program, 25 different measures. That led and fed into this great opportunity with EPA Clean Ports, where the port was actually able to go out and get a $110 million grant to help us to fund all of the programs that we identified in the Clean Air Plan.
One of the exciting things is the school buses. So school buses would park in school parking lots around the children and they'd idle.
By July 1st, we'll have 34 electric school buses. And with the AB617 project, we are awaiting 10 more. I believe that it's important that we don't have our drivers or our students breathing diesel fumes.
We were invited to be a part of a big Earth Day event with the Stockton Unified School District, where we were able to pass out air purifiers and let residents really know, let parents and students know how to be a part of the clean air solution through AB617.
We actually had a family come in and she didn't know what an air purifier was. She had 3 children, and then I asked her, I said, do you know anybody in your family that might have asthma? And she was like, all 3 of my kids. And I was like, okay, well, so then you want to apply. If you fall within this boundary, you would qualify and you get it for free.
So this is the idea of bringing different groups together so that they can have the opportunity, I should say, to showcase their resources that is located in Stockton and located in the AB617 area. It's always proud to be in a place who's willing to do the change and stand with the people who wants to do that kind of change.
I think that I want to see that we can go higher. CSC has set the platform. We have to make it everything plain and easier accessible. We've got to work something out that we can get the people taken care of right now.
I feel really proud. I've been trying to tell my friends and other people so that they can be a part of making change as well.
Breaking news. If you're taking metformin or insulin, you need to see this. Did you know type 2 diabetes is a completely reversible?
All right. Well, there we go. I feel like on behalf of all of us at CARB, I should give everyone a big thank you that participated in the making of the video. A lot of Air District folks, a lot of community members. You obviously you know who you are. But yeah, let me stop sharing my screen. Yeah, I suppose I should give a shout out to my colleague Amaya Hernandez as well. I believe this was the bulk of this work was theirs. It was a real labor of love, absolutely. But yeah, I think that's it. That's it for standing updates for us at CARB.
Thank you so much, Kyle. That video was amazing. It was nice to see familiar faces. And Deldy, I think I saw you. Okay, yes.
Yeah. Sarah, thank you so much. I did just want to follow up with one more update, which is really in the form of a big thank you. And Mary Elizabeth was, as you all know, a very committed member of this committee, and she also put her name in the hat to serve on the consultation group. My internet's unstable, so I'm
Shelby,
turning off.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I do think for me personally, I heard the very end of it. So if you don't, I think maybe if you could start over for all of us. I heard the tail end of it, but I'd love to hear the beginning.
Yes, I'm turning off camera because I have bad bandwidth. I hope this is better. I want to thank Mary Elizabeth and Margot for putting their names in the hat as primary and alternate members, respectively, to serve on our AB617 consultation group. Our very first meeting is coming up on September 8th, and so just thank you both.
Yeah, thank you so much, Deldy. Thank you so much, Kyle, for that video, showing the video and your work as the liaison. It was so cool to see so many familiar faces in the video. Margot, Mary Elizabeth, yeah, thank you again for volunteering for that. Before transitioning, any last questions for CARB regarding that video? Or anything coming up for folks?
Oh, I do have one last thing I could say. I think I'm a little biased in this just because I've been with the Stockton community for so long, just for the incentive standpoint, but also the liaison. But honestly, I feel like it is kind of telling that even though Stockton is not a first year selected community, it was the community for the highlight. I think that's testament to all y'all easily. Again, I'm biased though, to be fair.
Thank you and congratulations.
Oh, this is Marco. I just need to pipe in here because, we came into existence right when COVID hit us. So this has been a real unique experience. That's all I'm going to say. It's been good, and Zoom has taken care of our needs for a great deal. Thank you.
Yeah, I think a great testament just to the great work that this community has done. So yeah, I feel like kudos to everyone. So much has been accomplished. Before transitioning, Sarah, are there any additional updates from the Air District for standing updates?
No additional updates at this time.
Nate, I saw you come off mute, Nate. Just want to double check. Did you have anything to say? Okay, if not, just put it in the chat and we will tap you in. Before transitioning to a little late, I did want to give one update from the Harder and Company team. You might have noticed that our colleague Laura Martinez is not here. While we were out, she is transitioning on to a new phase of life and exploring new things. And so Amy and I both talked to her today and yesterday, and she sends her love and is sorry that she could not say goodbye while we went dark for July, but just wanted to give that update. But Amy, Ramos, and I are still here and we'll be your facilitators but just wanted to acknowledge that change of staff on our part. Are there any other agencies that have any updates before we transition to wrapping up the next steps? That I will pass it. I continue to see some updates in the chat. And so, yeah, browse the chat to look for those updates and community meetings that folks are plugging. But with that, I will pass it to my colleague, Amy Ramos, for a wrap up and next steps.
Thank you, Jared, so much. Hi, everyone. This is Amy. As always, it's a pleasure to be part of these meetings. As we transition to wrapping up, we want to make sure that we do give a little moment to considering what you all would like to include in our next meeting. We do want to propose that at our September meeting, we hear some updates on the clean air rooms and maybe some budget and timeframes and parameters that you all just brought up during the SERP updates. Besides that, are there any other proposed topics that you all would like to hear for our September meeting? Yes, Margo, go ahead, please.
I'm hoping we can have an update on the vegetative barriers and the trees soon.
That sounds good. We'll make a note of that. This is Amy. Mary Elizabeth, I saw your hand and then it went away.
Yeah, that it was that, so if just looking at that picture of the fairgrounds, they could use some more trees around in there too, So yeah, we definitely need to work on our trees. Thank you.
Very good.
All right, hearing some support from Eugene and also from Regina in the chat regarding urban greening. So we'll make sure to propose that and include it in the agenda for our next meeting. Anything else coming up for folks? Okay, not seeing any. Oh, here we go. Regina, go ahead. If you're speaking, Regina, we can't hear you. You're on mute. This is
Yes, I wanted to inquire as to about the CAR program. I just wanted to make a small suggestion that there would be a little more help for the participants to in guiding in guiding them in picking a vehicle. I think it, I've been through the program. I'm sorry if I'm being redundant or, I know we spoke about that earlier, but I think it's important that, it would be good if we could guide people so that they will make great decisions when picking that automobile. That's all.
This is Amy. Thank you, Regina, for your suggestion. It sounds like you have a recommendation and some feedback for Valley Can and the Air District to potentially offer some more guidance and support in vehicle selection. So we'll make sure that, Valley Can's not here tonight, but that they hear that recommendation. And continue to feel free, Regina, and every CSC member, if you have feedback like that about implementation, you don't have to wait until the CSC meeting. You can always reach out directly to the Air District and provide that feedback so that we can make some real-time adjustments. Thank you, Regina. Okay, as you all know, we take notes and write down action items real time as we go through the conversation. For tonight's meeting, we only have one action item that we documented, and that action item was to provide an update on the implementation progress of the EV mechanical measure. Was there anything else that we should have captured that we did not capture?
Well, the update on the urban greening and vegetative barrier.
For the agenda item?
Yes.
We will not, let me just stop trying to share my screen here. That will be for the agenda item, but in terms of any other action items, anything else that should be noted? Okay, we will be sure to include both of those. Oh, Mary Elizabeth, go ahead.
So, I was looking around at the enforcement report, there was some more posted that we didn't hear anything about, which is fine. But I just wish that we would have a little bit more follow-up other than, a notice of violation was sent. Like I think, like a little bit of, like, well, did they get a fine? What was the consequences? And then, I think that there needs to be, some more community education for that, so that, so that we can continue to do some more monitoring, like which of the businesses, what was the schedule, and just a little bit more detailed information. So maybe enforcement meeting, coming up. Maybe.
This is Stephanie. Amy, can I jump in really quickly? Because Mary, you brought up a really great point, and I cannot believe I forgot to mention this to the Hardware and Company team as we prepped. Another topic that we wanted to line up that we've actually been prepping for internally for a little while now is an air monitoring update in the next meeting as well, which we will also, as a part of that, share some of the results from the air monitoring, the mobile van monitoring that we did in the Port of Stockton. So I also just wanted to share that as well. I wanted to make sure you all knew we were following up on that and that we have some results from that. So we do plan to bring that back in September as well. But Mary, to your point, I totally would love to kind of reconvene our regulatory and enforcement subcommittee. I know in some of those meetings we've kind of walked through the report, done a more kind of a detailed dive into that. So I do definitely think we could be due for that and reconvene that group if that sounds good with everyone. And I agree with you, Mary. I totally slipped my mind, and I want to make sure that we send it out in our follow-up. We can send out that the next quarter's enforcement update is available. We should actually have another quarter getting posted probably this week, and we can share that out with everyone. Thank you.
Amy, thank you, Stephanie. Great. Any other comments or suggestions before we move to public comment? All right, so as a reminder, our next meeting will be virtual as well, and it'll be on September 3rd. All of the settings and the meeting invites are the same, so please be sure to mark your calendars. At this time, we'd like to open it up for public comments. So if anyone would like to use this time and space to share any announcements, anything that's come up that we haven't had a chance to talk about that impacts the community, now would be the time. So if you are a public member and have an update, this would be the time for you to join in. Right, I'm not seeing any comments in the chat or hands raised. So with that said, we will transition to ending tonight's meeting. Again, thank you so much for your dedication and commitment. Oh, Mary, go ahead. I think my computer was delayed.
I'm sorry. I thought you were waiting for public, so there's three meetings in the chat information. So if you haven't signed up already, go ahead and save it there. One is Reclaim Our Power, and that's tomorrow at Stribley Community Center, and that's envisioning a new kind of utility system here. A good opportunity for community gathering to, be more aware of what PG&E is doing. Another one here, the city of Stockton, on their climate action plan, they also got some funding for metropolitan planning area emission inventory. So there's this meeting over here on the 13th of August, next week at Lathrop, and I put the link in there to RSVP for that. So there'll be information for everybody, but us City of Stockton, we need to, make sure that we're getting the best that we can. And then Aluminilla Rising has a meeting in here. I'll go ahead while I'm on a roll here is a community resilience training. And this is in collaboration with San Joaquin County Office of Emergency Services, and that's on Thursday the 14th. So you can have 2 meetings next week if you're feeling like you gotta meet on. 2 meetings this week, 2 meetings next week. Thank you.
This is Amy. I love the enthusiasm, Mary Elizabeth. This is great. Keep on meeting. I do see a new one that was just added, or did you mention? I can't open it for some reason. A youth conference.
Hi, I just wanted to promote the youth conference Little Manila is also throwing on August 23rd. They're gonna have workshops led by the youth, performances, giveaways. So yeah, August 23rd from 10 a.m. to 3:30 at Delta. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other community events or comments that we should hear from and learn about right now?
There will be a health fair tomorrow. I do believe it's at the Banner Park from 10, I think it's 10 to 2 tomorrow at Banner Park. And then 3 o'clock Saturday, there is a concert, a God Save Our Children concert and scholarship fund at El Dorado and Lincoln Street at the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Very nice, nice concert. You'll love it.
I think that the health fair that you just mentioned is going to be on Saturday because I'm actually going to be participating there, and it starts at 10. They will be receiving for each family member a free lunch ticket, and they're also going to be distributing food. So families will be receiving a box of food along with free health screening.
Correct. 10 o'clock Saturday.
On Saturday, yes.
And that's the one at Banner Park?
Yes.
This is Amy. Thank you, Everett, and thank you, Isabel, for clarifying the date. Maybe when the Air District sends out the email, we can make sure that some of these details get sent out in the email so that you all have those details all in one space.
Thank you.
Thank you, Everett. This is Amy. So with that said, we are extremely grateful for all of the time and commitment that each one of you has dedicated to the implementation of AB617 and just your advocacy and commitment to ensuring that you all have a healthy life and you can thrive in your community and that future generations can continue to do the same. Your commitment is super admirable, and it's always our pleasure and privilege to be here in space with you all. This wraps up our meeting for tonight. We will see you in September. I hope you have a really nice rest of your August. And if anything comes up in the meantime, please don't hesitate to reach out. Good night, everyone.
Do you remember September? Never was a cloudy day. Have a great one, you guys. Be safe.
Good evening, everybody. Sorry. Good night, everybody.
Good evening, everyone.
Good night. Isabel, we've debated this for many times. Do we say good evening or do we say good night?
I know, it's one of those things. I don't know. At least I'm not busting out with my Spanglish, you know?
Thanks, everyone.
Everyone.
Good night.
Night.